Hey guys, Telegram Sam here. If you don't already know, I have an Instagram. It's telegram_Sam_vinyl. I post daily pictures of records and music and stuff. So if you're interested, go check that out. But today I just have a recent vinyl pickups. Don't have a lot to show. Again, I'm trying to save up for my trip to Washington the first weekend of September. Where I plan on doing some serious financial damage. I'm going to be in Seattle because that's where I'm getting off at the train station. So I'm definitely going to hit Silver Platters. I always go there every time I'm in Seattle. And then me and my mom are also taking a trip up to Bellingham. So if you're familiar with Northern Washington and you know any great record stores up there, let me know. Hopefully I'll get a chance to go to them. But anyways, let's get to the records. First off, we have Neko's Drama of Exile. This is a reissue that Vinyl Me Please did. This originally came out in 1981. This is her first, the first time this has been reissued in the US. This is her sixth studio album. And this particular one, there's only 500 of these color variants pressed of this really pretty clear vinyl with sort of maroonish red splatter in it. This lighting is really not showing how pretty this is, but really cool pressing of it. But yeah, this was her when she was doing her sort of gothic, new wave, electric sound. She does a cover of Waiting for the Man, you know, the classic Velvet Underground tune. And she ends the album with an amazing cover of Heroes by David Bowie. It's like literally one of the most perfect ending songs I think I've ever heard on an album. This album is just such a hard one to explain because, you know, her sound is so unique. On this particular album, I think this is the only album John Cale didn't play guitar on for her. But she has like a Middle Eastern backing band on this album. It's just such a interesting and cool sort of Middle Eastern like post-punk thing that it's just really hard to explain. This is one of those albums like you really kind of just have to hear for yourself. So if you're a fan of Neko and this time in her career, check that out. Definitely recommend it. And then this next one, I've been on a real Screamin' Jay Hawkins kick. This is At Home with Screamin' Jay Hawkins. This was his first real album. This originally came out in 1958. This is a 2018 European reissue. Interesting thing about this, when I was cataloging this on my Discogs and adding it to my collection, I saw this little thing saying that this is prohibited from being sold on the Discogs marketplace. So I'm wondering if this is some weird sort of modern day bootleg. I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone else has this, but it's on this gatefold with this awesome picture of him. But you know, this is the album that has his classic song I Put a Spell on You. Interesting history thing about that song is that when they recorded it, they were blackout drunk, both his backing band and him. The next day, they didn't even remember recording it, and he just sort of blindly sent it off to the label. And of course, they released it as a single and ended up becoming his biggest hit. And actually, the first releases, they took out the grunting sounds he did because it sounded too sexual. So yeah, love Screamin' Jay Hawkins. He's the founder of shock rock. I mean, you gotta give props to him. And this one just came on black vinyl with this sort of DOL label. Never heard of them. And then next up we have an artist I've been meaning to get for such a long time. I don't have anything from him. This is Let Love In by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. I recently just watched his documentary that was done like 10 or so years ago called 20,000 Days. I highly suggest it. I watched it on Hulu. It kind of just goes through his life and like his creative process, and he talks about He talks with like some of the people he's collaborated with. Warren Ellis is in it, of course. But yeah, this is his 8th album with the Bad Seeds. Super great, you know, his usual post-punk, gothic, alt-rock. This is probably the album that has most of his most recognizable songs on it. Do You Love Me, Lover Man, which Metallica covered on Garage Inc., I believe. Red Right Hands, Thirsty Dog, Do You Love Me Part 2, Lay Me Low. I mean, essential if you like Nick Cave. And this one just came on black vinyl. The next up, we got The Crew by 7 Seconds. This originally came out in 1984. This is a 2021 US Deluxe reissue. It has a great sort of booklet that's in here with interviews with Kevin Seconds and his brother Steve Youth. Kevin is the singer, Steve was the bass player. They were kind of like the main 2 members of the band. But yeah, great interviews, pictures. Ian MacKaye is also in here talking about them, and Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys. Yeah, they were a great hardcore punk band based in Reno, Nevada. I mean, this really isn't for people that like mainly only listen to the Ramones and like the Clash. This is like if you are into Black Flag, Minor Threat, Dead Kennedys, you would really love this. I would recommend the song Young Till I Die. That's the first song I heard from 7 Seconds, and it just made me fall in love with them. I mean, such a classic in the hardcore punk thrasher genre. And then this one just came on black vinyl. When I heard that they were doing this, I tried to pre-order. They were doing a limited, I think it was limited to 500 of like this really cool black and red color variant, but I was too slow on the draw and wasn't able to get it, but I will settle for that one. And then next up we got Live at Goose Lake, August 8th, 1970, The Stooges. This was released last year for the 50th anniversary of the concert. Third Man actually did this. But yeah, this was the last live show that had the original Stooges lineup. And it comes with this great little packet that explains the show and the Stooges during that time and what was going on. And Goose Lake was supposed to be like the Midwest version of Woodstock, and like Woodstock, pretty much everything that could go wrong went wrong. They were only expecting 60,000 people and 200,000 people showed up. The weather was like the worst it had ever been. There was no food, no water. People were falling off of the scaffolding, trying to get better views of the bands that were playing. People were taking, really bad acid and having really bad acid trips. Like, it's really interesting and really cool. I would say the sound quality on this is pretty good. You can tell that whoever took the sound took it from whatever soundboard they were using. This definitely isn't like something like a recorder in a pocket live album, so it's really good. I wouldn't say this is the best live performance I've heard from the Stooges. Yeah, I wouldn't say this is an essential album to have, but if you're a Stooges fan like me, it's a cool and interesting part of their history to have. So, and this one just came on black vinyl. It has this cool Goose Lake music peace sign label, and then the back. And then last but not least, this is something I actually bought off of Instagram, DMZ Records. You should check them out if you're on Instagram and you're into records. But this is Naked by Talking Heads. This is such a hard Talking Heads album to find. This was their last album, their 8th studio album they did together before they disbanded. This was released in 1988. This is their original US press. I don't think they've ever done like a proper reissue of this album. But yeah, this is a Talking Heads album that gets slept on a lot. I was just listening to this when I was getting ready for this video. I'm like, man, this album's really great. Probably one of the most notable songs on here is Nothing But Flowers. I always call that the Pizza Hut song because it has that lyric that goes, "This was a Pizza Hut, now it's a daisy field," or like something like that. But yeah, this is a really great, you can definitely hear the influence of the sort of world music thing that they were doing at that time. You can hear the Latin, the Middle Eastern, the African influences they were having. And the interesting thing about this one is that when they recorded it, they flew over to Paris and invited just like all these musicians from all around the world, and would do these like 14-hour jam sessions, and then would kind of pick like the best section of music from each session until they had enough to compose an album. And then they flew back to New York where David Byrne would sort of overdub the lyrics over the music. Very interesting way to sort of record an album, but it definitely works on this. The lyrics just flow so much better with the music than I think a lot of their previous albums did during this time. So yeah, really cool, underrated Talking Heads album. I don't think I've ever seen anyone talk about that album before. And then yeah, this one's just on black vinyl with this cool Sire label. I love the fly that's like in the corner. But yeah, that's all I picked up lately. Next big vinyl haul I'll do is the one when I get back from Washington. So we'll see how much damage I end up doing. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.